What's up, y'all? Another day, another dollar. See how that goes. I'm driving my good car today. Got nobody in there yet. Guess it'll take everybody a minute to get in. Doing my pre-driving habits here. Get my seatbelt on. My lifeguard. Fucking seatbelt. You know, I remember a time in life when we didn't have to wear a seatbelt. We could just fucking drive around and didn't have to worry about it.
I'm on first wave. I'm Richard Wade, and coming up in less
But
than 20 minutes time,
let me turn this radio down so I don't get any fucking bullshit from them. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop and get gas today. Isn't that wonderful? Hey, baby, what's up? How are you today? Good, I hope. Huh? Yep. How's your day been? Good, I hope. Yep. Hump day Wednesday. Means I got 2 more days left this week, and then it's weekend time. I like the weekend time. Got a walkathon to go to Saturday. It's a fundraiser for Huntington's disease. Spending what time we have left with Mama? What have you been there all week? I didn't know you were planning on staying that long. I thought you were just going to go over there for a day or two. Yeah. Well then, I hope you've enjoyed your visit. I enjoyed my visit when I was there. Back in, what was that, March? I think I was there in March. Yep, I got to see the grandbabies. Got to see Dee Dee, and got to see, well, I didn't get to see a lot of my friends, except for when I went to Peggy's memorial service, and I went to Paul's memorial service. And I had an okay day. Just stayed here a few days with her. That's cool. Well, good. Glad you had a good time anyway. So I'm headed home. I might have stopped and get some gas though. You know what's really funny is it seems like every time I turn around I'm having to put gas in either or car. Like the other day I stopped, what was it, Tuesday? No, wait a minute, Monday. Maybe it was Monday. I stopped and got gas in my Trailblazer. Stomach is giving you issues. Is that some more of that? Was that your nerves wrecked or what? Anyway, I stopped. I think it was Monday, maybe. Yeah, because I did a video Monday. So Monday I stopped and got gas, and I decided I was going to drive my new car the rest of the week. And I get in it, and I've only got a quarter tank of gas. So I'm going to have to stop at the gas station on my way home today. What happened? I had 4 people, and all of a sudden there's only 1 again. Wow. No, it's from surgery. Okay. What, from your mouth surgery? Didn't you just have like a tooth pulled or something? What kind of surgery did you have? I don't. Was that like for that thing that happened a couple of months ago? I'm confused here. Fill me in. Get me up to date. All right. Anyway, yes, I'm going to stop and get gas here in a little bit. So I'm guessing people are kind of wondering now that I got a few of you in here what my post was all about, or my status on my YouTube page, or channel or whatever about all these fucking lunatics out here. You know, I didn't realize how stupid and crazy people are in this world. It really amazes me. You know, I knew that, you know, there were some like left-leaning groups out there and things like that, but God, you people are fucking psychos. It really surprises. Well, I guess nothing surprises me in 2025. Man, you people got nothing else better to do than celebrate somebody's death. That's beyond me. I don't understand it. I really don't. I was watching a video from Chicago lunch today, and you had the ICE officers. You know, they're doing their job. They're doing what they are called up to do. I guess it's ICE officers and National Guard. And you had a bunch of, I guess they're unemployed people, like they've got nothing else better to do with their day or their time than go scream at people. And it's like, you know, they keep saying the word fascist over and over and over and over, and it's all because people don't agree with what they say. You know what I mean? And I mean, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, the ones that are screaming fascist are the ones that are actually the fastest. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you know, it's because they want everybody to change to be like them. They want everybody to shut up. And then what fascism is all about. I'll tell you what, if we were fascist, if we right-wing leading people were all fascist, I got a feeling you guys would have a big problem on your hands. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't, you know, I just don't understand it, you know. And you guys, I don't get it. I mean, it's like you guys didn't grow up with any morality or any respect for anybody, not even yourselves. You get out there and act like a bunch of fucking fools, you know. It's beyond me. I just don't understand it. Crazy. But I mean, I guess if you know, purple, green, yellow, orange, blue, pink-haired people want to get out there and raise hell, it's your right to. You know, you can do whatever you want. But I think at the point where you start interfering with law enforcement or whoever, that's where the Constitution draws the line. You know, yeah, you're allowed to protest and you're allowed to do things like that. But when you go start interfering and people doing their jobs and things, that's kind of like drawing a line in the sand. You know. And then you get pissed off because, you know, the police officers are trying to move you out of the way so they can go about their business and do their thing. You know, I mean, what's the point? You know, it's fucking crazy. You guys are nuts. That's all I got to say. Oh, jeez. The immaturity just, it baffles me. You know, these people out screaming at people and, you know, shooting people because they don't agree with you, all because they don't have the same mindset as you. You want to take them out, you want to destroy them, you want to dox them. If you want to dox me, go ahead. I got nothing to lose. You know, I've been doxed before, and you know, whatever, fuck off. But I mean, you know, and now you guys are getting a taste of your own medicine and you don't know how to deal with it. You know, all you people that are out there losing your jobs because you're running a mouth and celebrating death, all because somebody didn't agree with you. You know, I don't get it. You fuckers. People make me sick. You know, I guess you didn't get enough attention when you were little boys and little girls at home. You know, so this is your way of having your 5 minutes of limelight. You know, somebody standing behind you with a camera while you're, when you're in somebody's face, you know, yelling and screaming and calling names, you little fucking communist, Marxist motherfuckers, all of you, bunch of little fucking Nazis running around. trying to stir up shit because your life is so boring and you live in mama's basement and you got nothing else better to do with your time. It's so fucking funny. Now, anyway, go read the Constitution. You might learn something. And if you're going to read the definitions of words, get a dictionary or an encyclopedia or books that were written before you did all these fucking new terminology and all that bullshit. Go look up the word Marxist communist, because that's what you are, all of you. You little blue and purple hair freaks out there. Oh my God. It's funny because you got nothing else better to do with your time. Whatever. Jesus Christ. You guys need some discipline. You should have had discipline when you were little kids. Your parents should have taught you things like, accepting responsibility for your actions. And they should have taught you morality and, how to fucking deal with people and be, civil. Going out and screaming and yelling at people in their face is not being civil. That's being a fucking asshole. And it seems to me that a lot of you get off on that shit. You want people to, respect you. You want people to respect you and you want people to listen to what you say. Well, then maybe you should do the same. People don't like it when you start yelling and screaming, because that automatically tells them that no matter what they say, you're not going to listen anyway. So the conversation's gone. You know what I mean? You guys are fucking nuts. What you got going on here? You're in the healing process. Hey, I know, Ashley. We all have to heal after we do things like that, But I hope you're having a nice visit over there anyway. Look, I got 12 viewers. I don't think I've ever had that many people on here before. That's pretty nice. Maybe I need to start talking about politics and shit like that. Do what everybody else is doing. It doesn't, I guess people are more interested in chaos and disorder than they are, logical, common sense things that, like us working people that have jobs and, do important things and are productive with our time. Because I'm telling you, you guys that are out there yelling and screaming and, causing a ruckus and getting in people's faces and, bitching and complaining and calling names and all that, you're not being productive. That's counterproductive. You do that shit, people are automatically going to be turned off by it, and the conversation's going to go away because they're not going to want to deal with you. But you're too stupid to realize that. So because you got the one-track mind, little fucking communist Marxist motherfuckers. You guys just piss me off sometimes, but that's okay. I think you're hilarious. I really do. I think it's funny to watch you guys in action, because you're like a bunch of fucking little children, are fighting over a piece of candy. And then you want to call people what you are, That just amazes me. You know who I'm talking about. If you're out there and this is offending you in any way, you know who I'm talking about. But you don't know. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Maybe if you found something more productive to do with your time, you'd be in a little better shape than what you're in. You wouldn't have to go out and fight authority. The hippies didn't do that. Back in the 60s, the hippies didn't do that shit. It was all free, peace, and love for them. And you guys are the most intolerant people. You people are out here, fucking all you little troublemakers out there running around with your little signs and your bad words. You think that people are going to listen to bad words forever? No. But the hippies didn't do that in the 60s. Of course, we did have something that they did have something that you don't have, and that was both parents in the house. They had, you know, a lot of them went to church when they were young. They didn't have all these fucking Marxist fucking teachers in schools and in colleges and things like that, you know, fucking destroying their common sense and morality like they do now. Yep. Anyway, all right, guys, you guys hang out here a minute. I got to go get some Go Juice for my car. Go Juice makes the wheels go round. I'll be back. You guys hang out. More power to you. Ashley, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Keep everybody entertained as they come in or whatever if you want to. I'll be right back. I better take my key with me. Somebody will try to run off with my car. Yep. Wow, 6 people. All right, you guys hold on. I got to go get some gas. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. Where's my buddy from India at? You heard from him, Ashley? You talked to him at all? What's his name, KB? I haven't seen KB. I saw him the other day. He came on and said it was like 2 o'clock in the morning where he was at. But I haven't seen him. Yeah. Let me go, it says. LTMEGO, let me go. License tag. Some of these people that have these personalized tags, they're so freaking unique. You know, they creative is what they are. You know, it's amazing that all these people out here whining can't be a little more creative about the things they do with their lives. It's really interesting. All right, let's see, vehicle status, current trip. Reset trip 1, reset, and it's 0. All right, good enough. I can go now. This thing's got all these fucking buttons and screens and shit. I get lost sometimes even trying to reset my tripometer. Anyway, oh, what was I talking about? I was talking to Ashley about something. What was it? You remember, Ashley? Oh, we were talking about you spending time with your mom. Have you been able to spend any time with your sister or any of them? Are you still there? Oh boy. Man, I can't ever get anybody to like come in and say anything. I guess I'm getting all the crowd that's from over in Europe and India and places like that this time of night, or it's nighttime for them. There's like a 6-hour difference between here and Britain or the UK, and I think Germany's like 7 hours. I think it's like the wee early morning hours in like Australia and places like that. I guess I'm gonna have to do some geography research to figure all this out. I did a video. What was it, Saturday, Ashley? I did a video. I don't remember. I think it was Saturday, and it was late in the afternoon. My follower, my subscriber over in India, was kind of disappointed he missed me. I told him that I had planned on doing it earlier in the day, but that it just didn't work out that way. So I ended up having to do it kind of, mid to late evening. And but I had to clean out I had to get these boxes out of my basement. They were starting to clutter up shit and make my basement look dirty. So I had to take care of that. Come on, turbo, kick in, let's go. First gear. Yeah. 0 to 60 and that fast. Yep. Stay in your lane there, big truck. I need you coming over here. Alright, dude, make up your mind, Mr. Camry. Which lane you going in? Alright, get on over there. Yeah, these fucking people, I swear. People just don't have any common sense whatsoever anymore. Anybody read any good books lately? I know that a lot of you, Generation Y and Generation Z, you don't read books anymore in school, which I'm thinking maybe some of you might watch me are. You don't sit down and read books anymore. Everything you learn is on the computer. How many people out there can, write their name legibly? I noticed that at my job, we got people that were either homeschooled or they went to school, when all the computers and shit started. They can't even write their names. I don't know how they're ever gonna fucking, write up documents and shit. If they were going to business for themselves and need to write something up, they're gonna be in trouble. Because half you motherfuckers can't even write anymore. And if you do, it looks like a fucking kindergartner. But that's okay too, I guess. Yep. Yeah, what a nice day. Oh, if any of you guys are wondering, I just left Mama's house. Oh, I thought you were going to stay for a couple more days. Will Tommy come get you? Or are you taking an Uber or what? There's a view. Hello, viewers. 4 viewers. I guess you guys wanted to come in and hear me bitch and complain. I've already done that. This is, I guess my caption or my introduction to my video today should have been, what the hell is he going to say now? Maybe I'll do that one Friday. That seems to be something pretty normal for me. I get on here with an idea to say something or talk about something. I end up talking about something completely different. But I was talking about, the little fascists and Marxists out there in the streets, peacefully protesting ICE and the police up in Chicago. I think that's funny as hell. You know, Chicago has like the highest murder rate in all of America. And like on the weekends, especially, you know, because people drink and they lose their patience with each other and shit like that. But more people get shot in Chicago every single, and you're not even supposed to have firearms in Illinois. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to carry them anyway. I don't know what their gun laws are because I don't live there, but I know that in Chicago you're not supposed to have a firearm. Period. Doesn't matter who you are, except for the police, of course. You know, they don't recognize my conceal and carry that I carry in Missouri, and I do carry all the time. I don't leave home without it. It's like an American Express. I don't leave home without it. But more people get killed up there, and now you got the National Guard up there trying to get people, you know, all the peace and order back, and people don't want peace and order. They want chaos and destruction. Why? You know, haven't they had enough of the, you know, the murdering and the attacking and, you know, whatever else goes on up there in Chicago? I get tired of hearing about it. You know, at my job, we have this thing called the intraweb, and we've got it's like an in-company website, and they've got it on that fucking, you know, MSN propaganda bullshit. But when they start talking about, you know, all the deaths from gun violence in Chicago and shit, I do read, you know, those articles sometimes. That's nothing new. It's something I expect to see, you know, especially like on a Monday morning. I love you too, Ashley. You aren't leaving, are you? What I got? 2 people watching? I can't tell if that's a 2 or a 7. I guess it's a 2. Oh well. One of these days I'm going to come up with a plan. I've got a green screen. I guess I could put some shit on my green screen and talk, and then, you know, give some people something to look at other than this. You know what I mean? My original idea for doing these videos like this was to, you know, talk about my day, and then I was going to do like reactions to songs that I've never heard. I have noticed over the years that music has changed quite a bit. It's gotten, you know, more raw. People apparently are a lot more angry than they were, you know, back in the 80s, which is my generation, Generation X, the greatest generation to ever walk the face of the earth. You know, we were the last people to use this kind of phone, and the first people to use the kind of phone that I'm now doing videos on. So that's kind of interesting. Well, you know, we grew up poor. Well, I did anyway. My family was poor, so we couldn't afford things like, you know, cable TV and MTV and all that. So I spent a lot of time, you know, out doing constructive things with my time as a child, or at least when I was home anyway. You know, I did grow up in the system, so my life was a little bit different. And if you guys knew my life story, you'd be like, you know, how the fuck did he survive that? But, you know, whatever. Unless you were there and saw what was going on, you probably wouldn't believe me anyway. You know, real life experience. And but, you know, a lot of you that, you know, grew up in all this modernization, you know, with cable TV and satellite TV and satellite radio. You know, I come from a generation where you take your tape player and you'd set it beside your radio, and I mean, just like a regular old, you know, tape player, not a jam box radio, just a regular tape player. You would set it beside your little, you know, AM FM radio before digital came along, and you'd wait for your favorite song to come on, and you'd press record, right? And you would record the music. But the problem was is you had to have your radio and your tape player or your tape recorder right next to each other, because if you didn't, it sounded like it was like being recorded from the other side of the room. So none of you know what that's about. None of you know what it's like, you know, to stay out until the fucking street lights came on. Now me, on the other hand, I don't either, because I lived out in the country. So when the sun went down and you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, that's when you went home. Either that or your mom would, you know, call your neighbor, because 90% of the time I was at one of three places. And my mom could call whichever place I was and say, hey, it's time for Jim to come home, and I would go home. But, you know, now we have cell phones and all. You guys walk around with a bunch of fucking, you know, leashes and shit. I call it my portable leash because, you know, no matter where I'm at, I've got that thing on me. If somebody wants to call me and get in touch or check to see what I'm doing, they can. And we didn't have that luxury when we were kids. You know, you kids today, you wouldn't understand. You couldn't survive a week of what we survived. You know, it's crazy. When I was in a foster home when I was, I don't know, 11 or 12. I lived on a farm, and I had to take care of farm animals. So I was up at, you know, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when I was that young, and I was milking cows and collecting eggs and feeding dogs and feeding livestock, you know. And now, you know, you fucking kids are so spoiled that you don't know what that's all about. You know, you had people to do shit for you. You know what I mean? Unless you lived on a farm, of course. You know, but if you lived in the inner city or, you know, in the suburbs, you know, you guys were what I call the throwaway generation. You know what I mean? See, I lived through the electronic boom when it first started, and you guys that grew up, you know, like in the 90s, I mean, technology had pretty much, you know, taken off by then. So you disposable children, your parents would buy you these video games, you know, these Xboxes and Nintendos and these what do they call those things? PlayStation portables and shit like that. And you'd sit in a room and you wouldn't learn things like, you know, family togetherness and things because you were a disposable child. They put you in a room because a lot of them didn't want to raise you. You know, they didn't want to be aggravated with you, and you know, a lot of you were, I guess you were pretty good kids or you wouldn't have gotten that shit, but you didn't learn any life lessons, you know. And it got to the point